Bonjour. Bonjour, bonjour. If you are just joining me, this is Véronique Verdeau, and I am back in Paris, and I met a friend downtown today. We checked out a new rooftop bar and a new place, and my friend is Lily Hayes of Je t'aime me neither. We had a great time, and since I was in the 9th arrondissement and I haven't been here for a little while, I thought I'd take a walk and take you with me. Bonjour mes amis, je vous vois. I see you. It's great to see you. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so if you're ready, I'm going to take you. I am here in a private passage or street called la Rue Bergère, le passage Bergère. So here we go. I'm going to switch around. We are in the 9th arrondissement. I see you pop in. Bonjour, bonjour. And this is a private passage here off of Rue Bergère. A lot of hotels are here now, and a lot of them are in construction. It's very quiet. Bonjour mes amis, if you're just joining, this is Véronique Verdeau. I am facing the sun now, which is not ideal, but it will get better in a few minutes. So I hope you can see what I'm seeing. This is a private passage in the 9th arrondissement. We are right off of the Grand Boulevard. I'm going to show you one of those hotels, which is right here. Hôtel de la Cité Bergère. Cité. You know how in Paris they call Cité those private streets, usually built for working classes, sometimes by their employer in the 19th century and early 20th as well. This one looks a little bit more elegant now because of the hotels. Bonjour tout le monde. It's nice to see you. I am back in Paris, taking a little stroll after meeting a friend. Look at how old this sign is. Hotel. You can see the old sign that tells you there's an elevator and that there is hot and cold water in all the rooms, including bathrooms. Things we take for granted now. And the same management company owned other hotels which are listed here. So mostly hotels in this street now, in this private passage, la Cité Bergère. This is a school dance, and they were performing earlier when I walked past. It's a theater and dance school actually, and they were out here when I walked past earlier. It's quiet now. It's 6:40 p.m. in Paris, so it's not quite dinner time, but it's rush hour for those who are working. Bonjour, bonjour. If you've just come in, this is Véronique Verdeau, taking you for a little bit of an impromptu walk really through the 9th arrondissement. Thought you might enjoy that. It's another beautiful day in Paris, and it's a very quiet week because tomorrow is July 14th, our national holiday, so I suspect a lot of people are out of town. I noticed it was very quiet earlier. Look at the pretty ceiling. You can tell it's been renovated. Bonjour, bienvenue. If you just joined us, this is Véronique, Verdeau. We are in the 9th arrondissement, taking a little stroll before I go home. So, we are here on la Rue du Faubourg Montmartre, and across that intersection is la Rue Montmartre. So, this is a very old road in Paris, because during Gallo-Roman times, this was the way that you could connect Lutetia, Paris, to Montmartre. So Lutetia would have been up there, and if we followed la Rue du Faubourg Montmartre all the way north, we would reach Montmartre. This is not a super elegant neighborhood. I think it was probably a little bit more elegant in the 19th century, but we have landmarks that remained of this popular, very popular neighborhood during the Belle Époque in the late 19th century, and before that as well. I'm going to show you a landmark here. It's not the best restaurant in Paris, but it's one that's really popular. And it's been here for a really long time. This is Chartier. And Chartier is known as a bouillon. Bouillon means broth originally, but really this is more of a brasserie, a very laid-back restaurant. And the decor is pure Belle Époque. Bonjour madame. Ça vous gêne si je montre?
Non.
Vous êtes gentille, merci madame.
Par contre, il vous faut, pour traverser la cour, il vous faut un masque.
Ah, bah, je vais le mettre là. Je vous remercie, je le remets. Merci madame, je comprends. Il n'y a pas de souci. I hope you can still hear me. The lady asked me to pull up my mask, which I had pulled down to be able to film. I have it around my neck. Here we go. So this is the entrance of Chartier. You can see it's a very old courtyard. You still have a fountain in the corner. Chartier is, as I was saying, very laid-back restaurant at the time, very populaire in the French meaning of the word, which means for working classes. And the food is simple. It's not the best food you would have in Paris, but it's the ambiance, the atmosphere that you come here for. There is a mezzanine. You can eat upstairs or downstairs. Service is extremely efficient, extremely fast. I hope you can see. Chartier, the name is on the tablecloth. Audio is great, I'm glad to hear that. It's empty right now. We don't have a lot of tourists in Paris right now, and it's also not quite dinner time for the French. But so it's a fun experience if you come here, because the waiters, you can look at the menu, but the waiters scribble everything on the paper cloth. On the tablecloth is paper, and so they will write down everything, and at the end they will add up everything with a pencil on the tablecloth, which is paper again, I just mentioned. The ceiling is magnificent, but I don't think you'll be able to catch it from where I'm standing. So this is Chartier, and we have other bouillons in Paris, and right now they are having a bit of a revival. There are a couple of new bouillons. There is another Chartier in Paris, and then we have a couple of new ones that have opened as well. Bouillon Pharamond is one of them by Les Halles in the 1st arrondissement. Merci madame, c'est très gentil. Bonne journée. She was very nice to let me in. Yeah, the food's okay. It's not. Merci, c'est très gentil. Ah, je vais leur montrer l'ardoise, tiens. L'ardoise, the specials. So for today, Monday, June 13th, they recommend le filet de hareng, that's herring, for first course, €3.80. And then the bœuf bourguignon, and look at the price of the bœuf bourguignon. And then for dessert, la crème au caramel, €3. So as you can see, it would not break the bank. Here is la Cité Bergère, the private street we just came from, where I started the walk. Yeah, if you can come to Chartier, you should try. Here is Le Palace. I don't know if you're familiar with Le Palace. This is a very Parisian place, but it's had a hectic career and story. It's been taken over so many times and has been bankrupt so many times. I don't remember when. Right now it looks like it's a theater again. In the 70s and 80s it was a very popular disco, and in the back when we were walking in la Cité Bergère right here, I saw that it's also a school, a dance and theater school now. So again, it has a new career, a revival of sorts. I hope the sound, the audio is good for you. We are walking along the Rue du Faubourg Montmartre in the heart of the 9th arrondissement, an extremely popular place in the 19th century. Many restaurants, cabarets, theaters, shopping areas, which we will see in a few minutes. We are in the 9th arrondissement, Beth, taking a walk. Just a quick walk. La Rue Bergère, where that private street au passage starts, is on the right. In fact, why don't I cross right here if they'll let me, without getting run over? Merci. Merci, monsieur, c'est gentil. Merci, merci. All right, here we go. Probably a better view from this side. So not a very glamorous street. Restaurants, eateries, kind of laid back vibes, exotic food, pizza, Asian food. Gotta have your Monop, the smaller version of Monoprix for food. Very handy. Now, we're just going to take a peek here on this street. At the end of this street are the Folies Bergère, the famous Folies Bergère, one of the most famous cabarets and showrooms in Paris. It's been restored to its 1920s glory, though it was created before that. I will stand on the corner so you can kind of take a peek. I can't walk all the way up there because it would take us. You see it over there in the background. You can see the gold on the facade. I don't know how many French artists. Hey, Steph, bonjour. I don't know how many French artists and international artists have performed there at the Folies Bergère. Of course, it's named after Rue Bergère, the street we just left. It wasn't the original name. So I'm getting back to la Rue du Faubourg Montmartre. Traffic noise, it's rush hour. Oh, so this is a bit of an unusual sight. Here you have costumes, so great place for Halloween, right? And if we have to wear face masks, we could also wear these type of masks. What do you think? That would be good. Halloween stores in the heart of Paris. Look at all this. Goodness. Plenty to choose from. That's fun. I spot a lot of exotic restaurants. If you've just joined us, this is Véronique Verdeau, or French girl in Seattle, as I am known online. I just returned from beautiful Brittany, where I shared videos and photos and stories, so make sure to check my social media channels if you'd like to catch up. My YouTube channel has a lot of the videos, Facebook, Instagram. I go under French girl in Seattle or France with Vero. That's right, this is a live video, my friends. She is in Paris. I got that much. I want to show you here a very famous store in Paris. this pretty store here in the green, the facade, à la Mère de Famille. This is a very old store. It's about 250 years old, and though they have other stores in Paris, this is the original location. And you can see everything that's listed on the facade, all the specialties they have. The guimauve, which is marshmallow, the macaron. They were, of course, a chocolatier, and it was pretty much a family business for a really long time. I'll try and cross here, show you a little bit closer for those of you who have a sweet tooth. These marshmallows are wrapped in chocolate. You have fruits confits, candied fruit. The French love this if you don't know what to bring to them. When you are invited into their homes, fruits confits or chocolate is always appreciated. These marshmallows are flavored with flowers, which sounds interesting. Les calissons, a specialty with almond paste from Aix-en-Provence. So a lot of things at La Mère de Famille, which has been here for a really, really long time. I thought I'd say a quick hello. Voila. Coucou. Yep, I do have my mask. I put it down for this walk. You can see a lot of people don't have them. Now, if you came here in the 19th century, you would have been shopping in some of these, the covered passages of Paris. This one is known as the Passage Verdeau, and it was built at about the same time as the one that follows it. Now, I don't know how good cell coverage is in there, so if it's not good, I'll just do this one and then we'll do something else on the other side. So it might get blurry. I'll go slowly. Now, these covered passages were where Parisians came before or after the theater or on a rainy day. They offered protection from the elements, from the rain and the mud. I like Passage Verdeau, though it's not as famous as others or popular as others because of the light that comes in. The glass ceiling is magnificent, and it brings in so much light compared to some of these passages. And of course, this was the 19th century, and the 19th century with the Industrial Revolution was all about steel and glass. And you can see this in the way they built these passages. Now, of course, today it's very quiet. Like I said, it's a Monday, and tomorrow is the national holiday, le 14 juillet. So I suspect a lot of people took time off. Some shops are open. Now, what you find in these passages are a lot of old books or illustrations like these. There's a lot of tourist stuff. On the right here, this one says photographie ancienne, old photos. They buy, they sell, and they assess, or they value. Now look at this architecture. This is really pretty. We are in Le Passage Verdeau, in the heart of the 9th arrondissement, and this is a great example of the way Parisians loved shopping and socializing in the 19th century, protected from the cold and the rain. There were tea rooms and restaurants just like today, maybe a little bit different from today. And this is apéro time. It started. You can see the Parisians doing what they do best. Ah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm happy to bring you along. I know a lot of you are sad that you can't come, so it's my pleasure. Now, those passages Here's the next one, Passage Jouffroy. These passages, they're connected, so you can just cross the street really quickly, and then you reach the next one. Please, because I'm hesitating to go in the next one. I don't want it to be too blurry for you, or it won't be fun. There's a delay in the comments, so I'm just going to wait a second until you tell me if the connection's okay. Now, in the meantime, I can tell you an interesting story. You know, Paris has the Seine River, and much has been said and written about the Seine River, but Paris also has hidden rivers, or buried rivers. And you probably know the story of the Bièvre in the 13th arrondissement, but there was another river here that ran not too far from the opera or from where the department stores are today. And La Grange Batelière is the name of the street where we are now. And thank you for confirming the connection is fine. I was concerned about that. Thank you. So this river was also underground, and it disappeared, I think, around the 18th century. I'm not sure. I hope it still flows under Paris. I like the idea of that. Not sure it does, but this is one of several hidden rivers or buried rivers in Paris. So if you're ready for the second passage, this one is a really popular one. It's called Passage Jouffroy. Now, I need to point out the floor, because this beautiful floor was restored a few years ago back to its original state. So you can see how pretty it is. So picture yourself in the 19th century. You're a Parisian, you're going to the theater, or not, and you come here to browse and shop. So right now they're closing down. Earlier I was here and I saw the books out. It's going to be pretty quiet, but I like it quiet. I hope the connection's going to hold up. This one I like because it sells a lot of photos of related to cinema and actors. So I love coming into this one. Now the reason I like this neighborhood is because out of the 10 years I lived in Paris back in the 1980s and 90s, I had several jobs during college and then a job in my corporate career that all took me to this neighborhood. I worked for an international airline that was by the opera, then I worked for the flagship store at Marks and Spencer, and finally for American Express France that had a giant travel agency. You may remember it right behind the opera, Rue Scribe. So this is a neighborhood where I used to walk a lot, especially at lunchtime on my lunch break, and I feel a connection with it. It's changed a lot, but places like these haven't. And I like coming here. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, they're turning off the lights as I walk through. It's like they're doing it just for us. La boîte à joujou. Joujou is a shorter version for jouets, toys. La boîte à joujou. That's what you tell little French kids. Les joujous. And look at the pretty clock up there. Perfectly restored, dating 1846, which is the date that this passage opened, I believe, or close enough. Les joujoux are a lot of little characters, apparently. Now, over here, this is still the librairie, la librairie du Passage, the bookstore. But over here is le Musée Grévin, the famous wax museum, where you can see history almost in action. They don't move much, they're pretty quiet. But how many people got to see Napoleon very subdued and quiet? Or Richelieu, Cardinal de Richelieu, I spot him up there, or Louis XIV. Not many people got to do that. And this is the Hotel Chopin. Some of you may have stayed at this hotel in the past. It's a lovely experience. I've been inside, but I've never stayed there. There's also a clock, which is not marking the correct time because it's almost 7 p.m. now. So we are, if you're just catching up, this is Veronique, Verdeau. We are walking in the 9th arrondissement, And we are in one of the covered passages that are really popular in Paris, and this one is le passage Jouffroy. After closing time, so you get to experience it on the quieter side. Here are some bande dessinée comics. You probably know the French are very big on comics. I mean, there is even a festival in France once a year dedicated to comic books. And it's not just Astérix, which is right here, peeking, Astérix and Obélix, or Lucky Luke, but many others as well. And maybe from here I have a nice view of the Hotel Chopin and the beautiful glass and steel, the glass ceiling. So Jouffroy, as you can see, is a bit more elegant than the previous passage, Verdeau, but I like Verdeau. It has a nice feel to it. The books, the old books, and the beautiful lights. It's nice. This used to be my, not just for kids. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Elaine. Look at the big teddy bear. Woohoo! Anyone for a teddy bear? For some unknown reason, Jaws is in the middle of all this. I don't know how it made it there, but it did. Oh, and here's Ratatouille. Hello. Ratatouille's brother is sleeping. So Pain d'Épices, if you come here, you see these guys are taking, this is called a bridge. Marks and Spencer is gone now. They've left the French market, but they returned with just their food stores. So it always takes me back to those years. I worked for them by the Opera House during my college years. Good products, good food. The business crowd really enjoys it. They have sandwiches and salads. So this passage Jouffroy is really nice. You can tell many stories about some of the restaurants that were here in those passages and what used to be here in the 19th century. When you come back to Paris, call me and I'll give you a tour. Merci, monsieur. Au revoir. Right. So here we are, back on those grands boulevards. And if you look here, this is one of the theaters I was telling you about. There are many in this neighborhood. This one opened at the very beginning of the 19th century. It was called the Théâtre des Variétés. It was a big draw for 19th century Paris. And right next to it opened what is considered, I think, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, of those covered passages, le Passage des Panoramas. So this one opened way before the ones I just showed you. Hello, we're in Paris. Do you hear that? Now you can see Parisians enjoying the terrace. Paris is quiet right now because we don't have as many tourists, obviously, but also because Parisians have started going on their summer vacation. La Colonne Maurice. This is a standard of the Parisian urban landscape or city landscape, also created in the 19th century. Everything had to match, everything had to look beautiful. Park benches, Colonne Maurice I just showed you to advertise for shows. The reason I'm not going in the third passage is because it's very dark. And now that it's closed down for the day, I think it's going to be even darker, so we're not going to bother. If my friend Oliver G is watching the Eiffel Tower, I dedicate this one to you and to my friend Roz as well. The Café Oz. And I think I'm going to wrap up this walk because we've worked in a loop. I will show you where we started from. This is my metro entrance. It's going to take me back home to Vincennes, where I live. Now tomorrow is July 14th, the national holiday in France, and there will be crowds, even though we're not supposed to get close to the to the Eiffel Tower for the show, the fireworks show. I know there will be crowds in Paris, and I will stay away from downtown Paris tomorrow because action is back. Good, good. So tomorrow I will be in the Paris outskirts where I live in a really beautiful area. I hope the weather cooperates because the place I'm going to is really pretty. I may take you along once again, so don't be surprised if I pop up for another impromptu walk. This is the street where we started from, la Rue du Faubourg Montmartre. You can see the palace over there, and you can see the Cité Bergère, that white sign next to the red store. That's where we started our walk through that private street. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will say a quick little voila. Thank you for joining me today. I had fun. I hope you did too. Hopefully the connection was decent as we went through the covered passage. So I was going to say happy July 14th, but in the States it's not really a thing. So happy start of your week. And you'll be able to follow a lot of what's going to happen in Paris. You know, the military parade will be different this year. A lot of things will be different, but I know that a lot of TV channels will let you see what's going to happen, so I hope you enjoy it. You can find me in social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on my YouTube channel. I urge you to subscribe. I do live walks when I travel, and by the way, I have another trip planned at the end of this week. So tag along, okay? Thank you for joining me. And I will see you very soon. À bientôt, mes amis.